control. Politicians and celebrities make deals behind closed doors, promises broken, and their income soars. Hidden agendas run the grand parade. In the circus, choose to masquerade. Believe me, I wouldn't lie. I've been given money, power, and fame to keep you in line.
Greetings, everyone. Hope you all are having a wonderful day. Minnie Cat told me that I should not do solo streams unless I'm very angry, because like the only reason why someone would do a solo stream is because they have to like scream about something that really upsets them or something like that. So I'm very angry today about social class and dating. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. It's going to be hopefully a quick one because I have to cook. But yeah, but before we get into that, today, two YouTubers that I have followed for many years have decided to call it quits. Let me find them. Okay. These two, well, you can only see her. There's him on this one. Boom. Anyways, I have been following them for a while now. They're very cute, like those annoyingly cute little couple YouTubers and stuff like that. They've been together since they were like 14 years old, whatever. They became very popular online because she does like comedy skits with him. She's very pretty and very funny and blah, blah, blah. One thing led to another. They became very famous, I guess, and invited places and doing all that stuff. And then, of course, that did not end well. Yeah. I mean, look. We don't know what happened. Of course, we're just nobody. But the rumors are, well, he actually admitted to cheating on her. So whatever. So there's that. He made some letters saying, yeah, I had problems. And then I told her that we should probably split up. And then he started cheating on her. And she found out, and then they got a divorce. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. But just from someone who doesn't know them and who has no idea what's really going on with them, just my completely biased, unknown opinion, just out of my ass, whatever, I would say it's probably because when they got together, they were very young. So they were obviously very bonded. Everything was great. Then he was a chef. So he was making a lot of money. She got to stay home with the boys and everything was fine. But then when she started doing this YouTube stuff, she got a lot of attention and whatever. And maybe, just maybe, that was a little bit too much for him to handle. And just from my very limited experience of going places, like to events and stuff like that with my husband, and then having them take a picture of us and then telling my husband, could you scoot away? I just want a picture of her now. And then like the look on his face and like the terror, like what? Like it could get to you after a while. Like if she's the star, suddenly he's not, I don't know, the star. Maybe she's making all the money now. Maybe she's making all the decisions and he doesn't like that. And who knows, guys? We don't know. But I'm just saying, like another one bites the dust. And this is not looking good for marriage and stuff. Anyways, but like I always say, the happiest couples are not online. They don't even know how to use the internet. They're like, what is this thing? I don't have time for that. So I think my last hope online of the online couples are like the Skinny Confidential couple. He's a little like a Metro, I would say. So like he does everything with her, but she gives him the title of like a manager, even though like she came up with the ideas. She still is like very much, he does this and he does that. And I kind of think like when you're a couple and stuff like that, you have to give them more, like the guy, more credit and more responsibility. And like she'll talk about how she sleeps in and whatever, and he handles things. And I think that's good. It should always be like, there should be that power dynamic of like the guy is like the manager and the head of every decision that you guys make as a couple. That's just my thing. There's also some rumors that he's zesty and people are like, I want to see if it's a chick. Who knows? We don't know. But anyways, that is just something that's been going on there. Now we're going to talk about social class and dating. Now, people always say Okay, this is going to piss people off. So I'm trying to talk about social class without pissing off everybody, but it's a thing, okay? It's a real thing. And there's a lot of myths that we have to dispel about social class. And the first one being that, oh my gosh, hold on. How do I make the live viewer comment show up? Oh, wait. How do I do that? Crap. Anyways, I don't know how to put the freaking comment things on anymore. I'll have to figure that out later. Anyways, thank you guys. It's been a bad hair day, so I tried before I started this. Thank you for noticing. Okay, so we're going to be talking about social class for marriage, not for a hookup. Okay. Yes, the billionaire will hook up with the broke woman. We know that. We even know that the wealthy woman will hook up with a broke hot guy. Of course. What? That's not something that we're questioning. Do you remember, guys, that the mugshot guy, the Jeremy Meeks guy? Right. Yes, this is true. I'm not supposed to talk to you, Simperius, because you're crazy. But yes, this is true. But we'll talk about that later. So, anyways, so the Jeremy Meeks guy, the model guy, whatever, that he ended up with an heiress, as soon as his looks faded, she tossed him out and replaced him with somebody else with a quickness, right? So remember, okay, also, I do want to show you guys this video from what's the Asian guy, Professor Yang? He does something on what's it called? Game theory. He's doing game theory. He's doing game theory with what the heck was it? Okay, game theory. Dating. Here we go. All right. Let me show you guys this one first because this is kind of important. Okay, so this is game theory. He's talking about like why do people do what they do and what is the motivation? That's what game theory is. So what is the motivation? He goes into it. I'm just summarizing it for you guys. Maybe we'll go through like a blow by blow another time when I have more time. But he's just like, what is the main goal? Like what do the women want? What do the men want? And he kind of breaks it down. And I believe it was, okay, we already know. I'll just tell you guys. Okay, women want status. Women want status. Period. Shut up, Simperius. So women want status, and men usually just want the hottest woman, right? Like that is status to them. But there is one important thing that you guys have to understand. These are two different goals, right? Like men have this idea that what, their parents told them when they were like whatever Disney movies that they watched, like men and women were like so brainwashed. And like I've heard men say women want to be nurturers, they want to be mothers, women are good at nurturing things when the conditions are correct. But their ultimate goal always since the dawn of time has been status seeking, right? So either you possess the hottest guy in the tribe that can defend you from others or whatever, or you bear his offspring so that your son will have status and thereby giving you status and protection. You guys forget that thing. Like children is not about nurturing and whatever. It's always about status. So like if the children give the woman status. And of course, we're talking about in general human nature. We're not talking about specific people. So please don't come at me. Some people don't understand generalities. And they're like, well, I know someone who's not like that. Nobody cares who you know. We're talking in generalities. And if you can't understand generalities, you can't understand literally anything. So like go watch cartoons. But anyways, so generally they are after status. And generally they're going to need something that gives them status, and nurturing does not give you status. It can in the culture if the culture values motherhood and values moms, if you get status just by being a wife and a mother, women will do it, but you don't anymore. And guess what? When there's no status, there's no incentive for women to do something. So now if status is posting the best Instagram posts, whatever, Instagram photos online, that's what status is. That's what women are going to do. If status is going on the best vacations and making everybody jealous, that's what women are going to do. If status is having this car, that's what women are going to do. If status is having multiple guys in different area codes, that's what women are going to do. They will do what you allow them to do and what gives them status. Always remember that. Men are pretty simple. We already know what they want. They just want to bang the hottest person that they can get. And they're even pretty understanding enough to settle for a less hot person if like that's all like they can get. Like they're kind of like, they don't need the highest standards, whatever. They're okay if like they like the person, whatever. Or if the person is like the same type of status as them, they'll be okay with that. They don't need that. Women need to have more status. They will do what gives them the status. And right now, there's articles all over saying dating and marriage don't give women status anymore. So that's going to lead to the inevitable collapse of the civilization, sure. But also it's going to lead to women not really caring so much about kids and marriage and stuff like that. If that doesn't give you status, it is what it is. I heard that in Korea, it so doesn't give you status to have kids that there's like restaurants that say no children. Like it's not even like frowned upon or like considered lower class to have children. It is literally like not allowed in lots of public spaces anymore. So think about that. Like children is not only low status, but it's just like ill, disgusting. Get out of here with that crying little tiny person. Gross. Like they think of people who have kids as low status. And that's the end result of like all this consumerism and all this garbage, right? So anyways, so we'll go over this another time. And he actually breaks it down. I feel like he's like the more advanced toe math. So he does break it down like by he's like, women want the status, blah, blah, we know that. And then he breaks down like the looks things, kind of like how the chart like home math did. I can't find it, but like, like the attractive people by attractive and attractive. The problem is there's so many, like this is very simplistic. We don't just sort based on attractiveness level. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. We also sort based on social class. So I know like in today's world, they still think social class is just about money and that's the only thing that matters. So like people actually think if I just get a lot of money, I'll be in a higher social class. That's not how it works. It's how you act. And you kind of have to be bred into it or like have the personality traits to immediately fall into it, seamlessly. So for example, America has a lot of claims of like this classless society, but people overwhelmingly will still date and marry within their own class. And this is known as assortative mating, right? And it's not accidental. It's driven by very deep incompatibilities because if hotness and status were the only things that matter, by golly, we'd all just be paired up in that way, but that's not realistic. It's not it. So let's understand the relationship between class and dating. So, 54% of married couples in the US still have the exact same education level. And that is because education level is a form of status. It might not be in the future with how colleges are causing so many people to have debt. And I feel like it's starting to have less status. So there was a point where your college degree, where you went, was everything. That was your status. It's who you were as a person, right? But then now that it's like we're seeing that the degrees don't give you a good job, they're just making the kids all crazy because they're teaching them like crazy theories that don't apply to getting a job or life. And there's not really much benefit except for a very few degrees in STEM fields, and they're kind of still becoming oversaturated. Like a doctor is not as prestigious as it once was. And I told you guys this before. I was at a brunch with a bunch of very, upper crusty, type of married women. And they were talking about like, what they want their children to be. And like one of the things that came up is like, oh, doctor. And it's like, oh, actually doctors don't have any money. Oh, they don't do, like, it's literally low class to be a doctor now, you guys. Like maybe like the top 2% of plastic surgeons still have some status, especially like in those communities, but it's not what it used to be. Like you can't just degree and career your way into status as much as you used to be able to. So anyways, so okay, let's see. Cross-class unions are only about 8% of Americans. That is very high-income families marrying someone who's from a low-income background. Only 8%. So this is not very, very often. You know that in Korea, they actually said they're going to ban all the K-dramas that are about a billionaire marrying a poor girl because they said it was destroying society, because all the women were waiting for like a billionaire to come and save them from their clerical job or something, or like, working at fast food or whatever. And the reality is that is not likely. The reality is, and look, we know this, from examples, we know this. It's always the people who they're around. And there are specific women that will hunt people who have a lot of status, and they'll either like go into media so they can have access to them. I had a girlfriend, she was just freaking drop dead. She still is drop dead gorgeous, walked into a place, got a immediate job with no experience and really no business doing it, because they looked at her and they're like, yes, you're hired. So she got to interview a bunch of high profile celebrities right out the gate. Like she literally just graduated, right? And then gets this job day one. This girl got to meet every celebrity you could think of. So like if she was hunting, which she wasn't very smart enough to hunt, and this is something I'm concerned about with her. But anyways, so she didn't really hunt, but if she was a hunter, she would have used that opportunity that she's with people to get someone with status, or to like meet people who can show her people with status. But no, she didn't use it for that. And she ended up losing that job as she got older and a more attractive younger girl came into the mix and took that position from her. Anyways, I digressed. So yeah, these celebrities, they'll marry people who interview them, people in the media. They'll marry people who are other celebrities who go to the same parties with them. They don't like go and, first of all, they're not going to McDonald's. They're not getting their own fast food, right? Like, no, somebody is doing that for them. They don't want any like interaction with like the plebes, us regular people. They're not doing that. That's like actually the greatest part about like finally having money. Like if I really wanted money, it would be for that. Like I don't have to go outside anymore. I don't have to I don't have to go to a bank and wait in line. I don't have to go grocery shopping. I don't have to do, like, that's the only part that you want when you have money. Anyways, so then let's talk about communication styles. So again, your class is not your money, but you tend to have more money if you're in higher classes. Okay, so keep that in mind. So let's imagine, let's give you some examples actually. Okay, this is the fantasy of everybody. Everybody keeps talking about this, like Rolos and all those people. Like they keep saying, a rich guy will marry the drive-through girl and whatever. First of all, if you are a good-looking and young girl, you are not working in a drive-through, right? That's the reality. Second of all, if you're a rich guy with high status, you're not eating drive-through shitty food. Okay, I'm sorry. No. You're not going to this, like, no, you're not doing. So this is like an insane fantasy. This is worse than like the K-pop dramas, right? This is not going to happen. These people will never interact. And the reality is, back in when I was young, you would see high school girls working at McDonald's or, you know, what's it called? Taco Bell or something like that. That doesn't happen anymore. Nobody in a high school is working at a fast food restaurant. That is a fantasy of a time that was before. Like how everybody like fantasize about the 50s and 60s and oh, when men were men and women were women. Oh, shut up. That doesn't exist anymore. The reality is the girls in the drive-through look like, and I had to use myself because I don't want to be called like, prejudiced or some crap. So I'm like, look, this is me. If I was young and hot, I'm not working in a drive-through. If young hot cat is not working in a drive-through, she's immediately getting either married because by somebody who's hot, or she's getting like a high-powered desk job just because she's cute. Like literally, I walked in when I was probably about like this, like 19, 20, something like that. I just walked into some interview I saw on Craigslist. Oh my God, that's so dangerous. I would never do that now. And these finance bros just hired me. They're like, we just want you to be like a secretary. You don't have to do anything. Just sit here, look cute. And when our high profile the clients come in, just like, offer them coffee and smile and kind of be like, flirty and sweet. And I was like, no problem. I got you, bros. And like, that was my job. I was not working in a drive-through. I'm sorry, I wasn't. And if I was, I would eventually look like this person on, like, is it my left or your right? Whatever. The bigger me, the bigger me, I would literally look like that because over time, the stress and like the anxiety from like working a hard job would just make me gain weight to like deal with the stress and be puffy and be miserable. Like that's what I would look like if I am outside of like high school out working one of these jobs, right? Eventually that would happen. And let's just like make it look even more realistic. I don't see young people in fast food places anymore. I see like old people like this old lady, like this is ridiculous. I think that's supposed to be me when I'm old. Man, I hope I don't look like that. Oh, going back to this one, I saw not this one. Okay. So this is what I see now, like old ladies, whatever. And then this is like the super real reality where it's like a middle-aged woman. She's overweight. She's tired. She's stressed. Look, the hair is a mess. She's probably got some tattoos. Like this is the reality. This fantasy, guys, that doesn't exist. The 90s are over. There's no young, hot people working in fast food. It doesn't happen. It's always like it didn't work out like well in your life if you're working at fast food as a girl, as a hot girl. Hot girls should not work at fast food. There's something wrong with them, I'm telling you. Anyways, so like I put in the AI, make me look like I'm 40s and tired with messy hair and tattoos. This is what I'm supposed to look like. Anyways, it is what it is, bro. But like, don't fall for the fantasy that there's these young, hot girls working these stressful jobs. It does not work anymore. Anyways, all right. So moving on. All right. How does communication happen, right? One of the big things is when you're in higher classes, you have more agency over your life. So you're not like constrained like people who are more in the lower classes, right? Yes. Yes. So anyways, you're not constrained like people in the lower classes. So like you can usually like plan things ahead of time. You can usually like go to last minute events. Like higher class people, they love to go to an event in the middle of the day. They're at hotel. Like when I was doing the influencing management business, I was going to these events in the middle of the day, getting free stuff. Like, wow, it was like a lot of fun. I'll tell you that. But it's a different world because most of these people, they're like rich kids, right? These influencers, a lot of them are wealthy children. And I do see like that seems to be the ones that are the most successful, like the children of wealthy people, because their parents are like, here, I'll funnel money so that you can like literally legit, like I have friends. Okay. This is real. They're like, I don't want to go to college. I want to be an influencer, daddy. And daddy's like, of course, baby girl, you can be an influencer. So He funnels money so that she can rent a space in like Coral Gables, which is a fancy, frou-frou neighborhood in Miami, right? It's an old money, nice neighborhood. And he's like, I'm going to get you a space and you can, I'll give you this money. Then you can hire a photographer to come and take pictures of you. And here's your budget. So you can buy fancy clothes. So you can take pictures of yourself. Like literally, this is real, right? So these are the people that I'm talking to. They're not working at fast food. They're not doing this type of stuff. And they would never be around like vice versa. And I'm talking about like there's guys who I know that were influencers doing this. Yes, there are guy fashion influencers. It's a thing. I know you guys are probably thinking they must not be into girls, but you'd be surprised. A lot of them are into girls and they have like some of the hottest girlfriends I've ever seen. Also the same class as them. They're usually both rich kids getting together doing this stuff. Anyways, so the other thing is like, if you do any like low agency negative talk, these types of people, they just get very like disgusted by you. They kind of feel repelled and like they don't want to be around you. And if you take somebody to a party, they're a representation of you. So imagine a so-called like higher class, wealthier guy, let's say that both of those things are together. He's wealthy family, he's higher class, right? Went to boarding school, all that stuff. He takes this fictitious 20-year-old McDonald's worker that's super hot and fit and all that stuff to one of these gala events that we would go to. And then she starts like smacking her lips, chewing bubble gum, or like, acting trashy or talking about when she needs to take a dump or something. Like, these things happen when you have different classes. Like one thing that would be completely acceptable in like lower working classes environments. I'm not trying to be like whatever, because I'm not upper class. I hang out with those people sometimes, but I know what I am. I'm not that. But just like how they are, it's just so different. Like you cannot say certain things. And I have to be so careful when I'm in certain spaces not to say anything that comes off negative or complaining or like I have no agency in my life or like I'm out of control of my life or that I have any sort of depression. If you say anything that might look like, oh, I'm sad about something, like you cannot go to those spaces. They have no time for that. Like maybe if somebody dies, they'll give you a week. If you're still sad after a week, like they're done. Right? Anyways, so, okay, I will tell you one story. You guys think this is true. It's hard to imagine what upper class men think if you haven't been around them. But I was with upper class men once, and they were complimenting on all the shoes of all the women in the room. And I just had Kmart sneakers, right? And it was immediately like, ugh, what is that? Oh my God. And then the guy was like, why is she here? I was objectively more gorgeous. And I don't mean to be a bitch, but whatever. In my prime, come on. Objectively more gorgeous. And still the guys was like, we can't have this around. I didn't say anything that was embarrassing. I didn't do anything that was embarrassing. It was just like I was wearing the wrong shoes for the event and they weren't brand named. And it was just like kind of sloppy. I also had like the back of my jeans were torn because like they would kind of drag. You guys know, like in the 90s, we used to have like our jeans kind of like dragged on the floor a little bit. Whatever. It is what it is, guys. Yes, this is true. I think there was like a survey that said that this is true. Yeah. Anyways, let's keep going. So yeah, negative talk, anything about low agency, like you don't have control of your life. High class people, like it's despising them. Like they can't be around people like that. One time I said something about like how I didn't have a good time in Rome on vacation and they like were immediately get this girl out of here. She did not have fun in Rome. I don't know where she went, but she didn't go anywhere good that we would go. And like, she's negative and she's dragging everybody down and like get rid of her. So like, I know what it's like. It doesn't matter how hot you are. Like there's a class divide, you guys. All right. Okay. Also, there are certain things you're allowed to brag about in those groups, and there's certain things you're not allowed to brag about, right? You don't brag about how much money you have or how much money you made, but you can brag about like other things. But from like my more working class friends, I notice that they tend to brag whenever they get a promotion or whatever. They're very big on that. Like they're just like, they want, whenever they get some money, they want to tell everybody about it. And so there's that difference. And also like, okay, the really big one is that they liked, like in, I would say working class, upper working class, they love to complain about their health issues, their gut issues, what they're allergic to, what they can and they cannot be around, like all of their sensitivities and all that stuff. Like that is like working upper class. So that's like you have to keep working or you're going to lose all your money and your house and everything. But once you get to the actual upper class that like they have it down packed, they don't have to work anymore. They really don't like people who talk about like health issues. They think it's like bad juju or whatever to be around those people, and they'll like not hang out with you. Bro, you don't have to. You don't have to. Yes, healthcare is a luxury, but also I think like they feel like they can catch it. Like I do feel like I get like this kind of like they have like a ugh. Like, what do you have? Gross. I don't want to be around you. Oh my gosh. Anyways, going on. Like never talk about okay, the other thing is talking about like personal problems or like traumatic things that you may have gone through or are going through or whatever. They do not allow that like in their spaces. And I kind of understand why, because it sounds like you're giving too much information about yourself away too fast. And it seems like you're trying to fake closeness too hard and too fast. And they don't know you. Like when, like if they're not like your best friend or they've been alone with you and they've gone to your house alone for long talks or they call you on the phone for long talk, if they're not like a close friend and you're talking about like negative traumas or things that have happened in your life, that is just not the sign of like the upper classes, because they do not talk about that stuff. It is poor taste to talk about those types of things. All right. And we already know about education. Yes, women who are highly educated will only date men who are equally or higher educated. We know that. Now, there is a small percentage of women that are educated, that will date men who are not educated. But the unfortunate fact was it was only, okay. Oh, let me go through this. People with college degrees are 12 to 17% more likely to marry period. So if you have a college degree, you are more likely to get married, period. Non-college educated women rarely will marry college educated men. That just shows like there's that there's like a divide in the classes. Like they're not marrying up. Even though they want to, they might date up, but dating is not marriage. And well-educated women rarely marry non-college educated men, except when they do, they only marry the few top earning non-college educated men, and they get skimmed off the top, they say. So over 50% of couples will match exactly, right? So this is just something to think about. Look, you don't have to like it, and I'm sure you guys know exceptions. Everybody knows an exception here and there. The next thing let's talk about is your hobbies or interests. Okay, look, this guy over here, he likes barbecues and sports, right? Typical dude. And this chick over here, she likes to go to galas, go to charity balls. She's mingling with the who's who in government, and she goes to the opera, and she probably invests in some boarding school, God knows, right? These people probably will not be a good match. They just have so vast different interests and hobbies where like there's really little that they can, let's say they're both like smoking hot. Like they're probably not going to assort if mate together. It's just not going to happen. Just something to think about. You don't see it much. And if you do, it's probably a Hollywood movie. Like, what was that movie? The Hollywood movie, Crocodile Dundee, where he married like the wealthy woman. And that's why it was a movie, because it's like so weird. It's like, how can this savage go to a dinner party? He's so embarrassing. He just took a knife out. Oh my gosh. No, unfortunately, no. Okay. Then we have the cultural expectations, the family expectations. We already know that women and men tend to like go with whatever their families say. I know like Americans are not like, they're like to fight back against their parents, but most cultures, they like to make their family happy. Like they'll if their parents are like, date someone within our culture, within our religion, within our whatever, they'll usually do it. They might mess around with everybody else that's their type, but then when they settle down and get married, it's with who meshes well in the family. All right, the next one is okay, we got family expectations. You guys know how hard it is with, oh God, I had such terrible experiences dating people who thought they were higher class than me because they didn't know. I'm just kidding. But like, I've had mothers who thought their sons were so amazing. And it's like, but I don't think she's rich. It's like, sweetie, I'm just, whatever. It doesn't matter. There's a lot. That happens a lot. You guys have no idea. I was told by, I don't even know how many guys when I was 19. So I was like starting college and I was dating people and they would be like, oh, if you don't make 100K, this was back in the day, like 100 years ago, 100K you needed to make. Can you imagine? Like even at the time, 100K was like rare. Like nobody made 100K. There was maybe a handful of doctors that made 100K or like, but like a regular old chick didn't make 100K. And they would tell me, they're like, if you can't make 100K, you can't marry my son. You better make at least 100K and blah, 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 and whatever. Like this is just the reality of it. But that's working upper class. That's not actual upper class. Actual upper class, they don't really care about how much money you make. They are just hyper focused on your family, how they act. Like if your family has like people that are like embarrassing, that can cause scandal, that might do something like that, then it's going to be more of a problem. But working upper class, they're of the mentality that we have to work. We can't have some lazy chick come over here that's not working too. So there's difference. And I would say that's the structure of different classes. Yes, you guys, I've told you this story like 100 times. I keep repeating it, bro. They told me when I was 19, smoking hot, right? That if I didn't make, yes, to date their son, yes. And the son told me too. The son told me. It's like, and I'm like, I just started college. I'm way younger than you. What are you talking about? Well, like, that's just how it goes. What is up, peeps? Yes, this is true too. There was some tiger moms. Let me tell you something. The worst tiger moms were like brokey Hispanic moms that wanted their sons to do better than them, which is ridiculous because like it's always the brokey ones that want their kids to do better that like are the most horrific to any girl that they date. Like the most horrific. I'm just like, your husband is literally like a bus mechanic and you are a clerk at a college. Like, and you expect your son to only date someone that makes X amount of money from like this prestige. Like, come on, like these These women are just crazy because, again, remember, women are about status. So she could not marry somebody who had status. So her son needs to provide that status by marrying up. It is what it is. Anyways. So yeah, like the biggest problems that I had were from brokey moms who wanted their sons to do better. But the actual wealthy families, like generational wealth families, they had no problems with me because I was not a trashy person. They could take me around places. I was very, calm, reserved. I wasn't loud, obnoxious, demanding. I knew how to eat with like all the utensils properly. I didn't make a mess. I was, polite, quiet. They like that. I didn't have problems there. It was always the brokies. Okay, next one is so lower class families will look at their potential daughter-in-laws or son-in-laws as like how much money can they bring to our family? Are they a hard worker? Are they going to do this? Because like think about it. If you're like a lower class, like working class, I'm not bougie. Stop. So like if you're like a lower class, and I'm talking about low class as in you're working, right? If you have to work, I'm sorry, you're low class. We have to work here, so we're low class too. It's fine. It's fine. If I wasn't low class, I wouldn't have a YouTube channel, right? Come on. So if you have to work, you're low class. It is what it is. Anyways, so for them, what was I going to go with this? Ugh. Yes. So lower class families always want their kids to marry someone who's a hard worker, right? Because they only know work equals money. Hard work equals money. That's all that they know. So they get scared if somebody is kind of lazy, which makes sense. But it also means like even the women have to be hard workers. You guys do not understand what is going on. Yes, being a good, decent man doesn't matter if you don't have money for a family. Family costs a lot of money. It's all right. It's all right. We're not living the high life. I don't think I have health care anymore. It's so expensive, you guys. But, we're able to do it where I can stay home, but we're not rich by far. But yeah, so some of like the really higher class people that I dated when I was very young, their parents had no problems with me. They were very nice and kind. In fact, they were very much get married immediately, which is kind of weird because then I was under the impression that you should wait until, you're older to get married, like at least until you have like some sort of college education or whatever. So then I would kind of get scared off. It is what it is. There was no one to really explain how life works and to go into like the details of like what different family dynamics would mean for your future and what different people were looking for and why this type of person is looking for this type of woman and this type of person is looking for that type of woman and vice versa. It wasn't talked about as much as it should have been. And I feel like now it's kind of the renaissance where we're starting to dissect why. Why are some people looking for this and that and other people looking for whatever, the other? And we're starting to notice that you're talking about class differences, right? Where people are going to be, how they're going to live their life. If it's too different, like I can't be with someone who I am now. I cannot be with someone who, and I broke up with people like on the first date. Like I can't have a second date with them. If I found out they were too into sports, oh, you're going to waste all your weekends watching sports? Cut. Okay. That's not the life I wanted. And it's the point where you have to go, is this person's life compatible with mine? And that's where class and hobbies and interests really go hand in hand. People are not hot for very long. And people forget this, right? Hotness is like the most fastest depreciating asset you'll ever have. Like if you're hot, it's like a blink. It's a blink of an eye and then it's gone. So if you base your whole personality on being hot, you're screwed. So anyways, but what do you mean if the father vouches for him? In what way? Explain. See, even believe in yourself gets it. You can be, look, imagine you are a wealthy guy, a prestigious guy. You're trying to get like to be partner at a law firm. Like this is some stereotypical shit, right? You want to be a partner at a law firm, right? So what you're going to do is, and they're like, bring your spouse, because they judge you, upper class and even working upper class, judge you by who you're with. If the person embarrasses you, if they're good looking or not good looking, if they're educated or not educated, if they're smart or not, if they're witty or not, if they're, their table manners matter. People don't think about these things, but it really matters. So imagine you take some chonga with like huge hoop earrings, a face tattoo, half her head shaved, she talks like, yo, what's up, brah? Or some other weird thing. And you take her to this meeting that you could, maybe become partner in the law firm or not. And she's saying all this stuff, and maybe she hits on your boss. Maybe she goes, hey, you want to see my tattoo? I just got it. Come touch, or something like crazy like that. Like, you guys have to understand, there's some places that even the smoke show, hottest, brokey, ghetto, annoying, chongalicious, trashiest, swamp woman can't go to. There's some places she can't go, and that's totally fine. Like, she probably would not feel comfortable going to those places anyways. You guys. Anyways, I've been telling you that the statistics are not in favor of this happening very much. It's a lot of fantasy and not a lot of reality. It's a lot of, oh, well, the broke girl in my fantasy is classy, loves her dad, is super, sweet, is clean cut, has her hair and her nails done nice, doesn't have face tattoos, doesn't have face piercings, doesn't have, like, these are fantasies. Go to a McDonald's. This is your homework. Go to a McDonald's. Go to a Burger King. Go to, what's the other one? Taco Bell or whatever. And go take photos. Bring me the photos of these hot, classy girls that you guys are thinking of. Because I've never seen them. I mean, not since the 90s. I haven't seen them. It just is what it is. Yeah, and this is true too. You have to be very careful about who you surround yourself. And it's like, it's fine. Look, whatever you're into, you should surround yourself with people who are into that type of stuff. That's what life should be. Not about pretending to be something to get accepted by people who will never accept you anyways. Who cares? But yeah, like these wealthy women, they're not working. They're not dating the I don't know, the bartender, unless he owns a bar. It is what it is, you guys. Oh my God. If her nails are not dirty and broken from working in the garden, I don't want it. Yes, willingness to work. Notice how you said, I want a girl with willingness to work. That's a very small amount of women who are going to be willing to work. Because remember, women now can work at offices, right? They do very well at offices for whatever the reason. They do better at men sitting down for long periods of time doing nothing, right? So they're very good at that type of job. The women do not want to do manual labor, right? They don't really want to do this. This is another fantasy of like this country bumpkin or whatever. If you live in a small town, you'll find maybe a few people like this. But the reality is, it's few and far between, because as society gets more technologically advanced, people are online and they're looking at what they can do and what they can have. Maybe if, you get lucky, you find someone who's like a little autistic about gardening and they would be into that. Yeah. I know people who are very wealthy and very autistic into gardening. It does happen. Or like maybe you're into, I don't know, maybe like farming or something. And there's definitely a girl with the right type of autism for that. I've seen it. What? Yeah, I mean, women too don't do that. Uh, yes, this is true too. This is what I like to do. Outside of my immediate family, I don't need that. Anyways, you guys will not believe me. This has been a failed attempt in convincing y'all. But if you still believe in the fantasy, let's go back. Where is it? The fantasy. Let's go back to it. If you still believe in the fantasy and not the reality, I challenge you all to find me some chicks that are still, I don't know, good enough to marry and take a photo. Oh my gosh. I mean, like, okay, be honest. How many of you will marry the broken down cat version? The I've had a hard life version. Nobody's fantasizing about that version. They're just not. It's just how it is. We are getting dumber and dumber every day. I appreciate that. Everybody hates labor, you guys. Nobody wants to do any work. But if you love someone, the first thing you shouldn't be thinking is, I want them to do a lot of work. I only love someone who puts in the most amount of work. How much work can how many sacks of potatoes can this mule hold on its back? Nobody should be thinking of that, you guys. Yes. How many of you are fantasizing about street rat cat? Oh my God. Anyways. We will talk. Yeah, fairy tales, not the realities. Or how about this one? Old, tired, been through it. Old, tired, been through it. All right, homie. I believe in you. So that is all we have for tonight. I was supposed to be mad because Minnie Cat said, like, you have to be mad when you do these streams. Listen, guys, find me the hot 19, 20-year-old fast food worker that is not an embarrassment at a nice dinner party. Find it. If you believe they exist, and I'm sure there might be a small town here and there, but if you believe they exist, go find one. Yes, and robots are coming, you guys. Robots are coming. Yes, challenge accepted. I await your photos. Make sure you get into the Discord and send me your photos. We are welcoming. Yes, this is any day now. We're so done with this place. Let it burn, right? What's the point of any of this anymore? The majority of real women are just faking it anyway. So who cares? What does anything matter anymore? Anyways. All right, you guys. I saw this, it was like an AI video. It was about like the AI robots come and like dudes get with their perfect AI robot, and then they don't accomplish anything. They don't leave the house and they just sit like there, with their AI robot chick. And then the whole infrastructure of society collapses and everything burns down and they die and they turn to ash. And it's just a bunch of AI robot women holding these dead ashen corpses. And that's like the end of the world. Because the women couldn't figure out everything that the men stopped doing so they could be with their robots. I didn't say anything, but you said that. What? Yep. I mean, it's happening. So I wish you all a beautiful robot wife in the future who holds your rotting corpse until the end of the earth. And with that, have a great rest of your day, guys. Like, subscribe, share. And remember, none of this matters. This is all like, it is what it is. See you guys next time. I will try to be more energetic and angry about something. I have to find something to be pissed off about. If you have any suggestions, get into the Discord and like, subscribe, share. And if you don't like me, don't like me. Thank you so much, homie. Appreciate you. And hope everybody got a subscription here, a membership. I will try to do something with just, I think, Steven. So like if you want to do like a members only stream where you guys can ask him something. And I feel like all you guys want to ask him about is like how many times he got hit on by dudes. But like whatever you guys want. If that's what you're into, we'll do that. I'll make him do that. Cinderella is a fake story. But anyways, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
The old gods whisper with tongues of sin. They crawl through culture to pull you in. Don't be for sale, don't wear their grin. The old are rotten, don't let them win. Eyes and heads and mirrored glass. They promised youth, they cursed your past. You drank the light with ruby lips, but every time